Now, everyone, it's time to spread a bit of movie cheer. Welcome to the Movie Cheer Podcast, the show for movie fans. I am your host, AP, aka Mr. Movie Cheer, and on today's edition of the Movie Cheer Pod, I will be discussing the Indiana Jones movie, the fourth movie in the franchise, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I've got it to the left side of me here, just that movie. I've given it a watch today, just in prep for this show today. So it's going to be a deep dive discussion on that movie today. To really get down to it, is it a bad Indiana Jones movie? Is it a bad movie in the franchise? Or is it a misunderstood movie? That's what I want to get to today. That's going to be today's headline topic. Indiana Jones 4, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Looking forward to it, as always. But before we get to today's headline topic, ladies and gents, I like to start off the show with a segment called Not So Worthy Blockbuster Housekeeping. This is the part of the show where it's just a general chit-chat about what's going on with the YouTube channel, what's going on in Movie Cheer Town, and just an easing in chit-chat to get us into the rest of the show, get us warmed up for that juicy headline topic. So, not so worthy blockbuster housekeeping for this week, ladies and gents. What is going on in Movie Cheer Town? Well, first of all, we got the latest video this week, another edition of Quick Topics, a video series I've really enjoyed doing over the past few months, to be honest with you. These where I just skim through. I do 6 different topics, all related to the world of movies, movie collecting, movie rooms, and really enjoyed it. This one was headlined by one of the topics, which was, do I watch all of the movies in the collection behind me? And just giving you like a little, just my thoughts on little topics like this. And it's also good as well, because I get to hear from the community and get to hear everyone else's thoughts on, do they watch every movie in the collection, or whatever the topic may be. And this is why I've really enjoyed these, because they're kind of, I think of them as really great conversation openers, and especially for new subscribers, new community members coming into this movie cheer town community as well, getting new interactions and getting new thoughts. And like I said, my favorite thing as well is seeing people in the comments just talking to each other. And when I'm not even, in a conversation, I love that. That's what I love to see as well. I think it's awesome. But yeah, it's great to see the community getting together, chatting, discussing different topics. And these quick topics videos are really good openers for conversation, which I find. So that's the latest video this past week. Right, I'm going to get to it. Winter pay-per-view. We do every 3 months on the channel. Starting this year, I've been doing a pay-per-view show every 3 months. Now, what is a pay-per-view show if you're not aware of what it is? We do a pay-per-view show. It's like a live show. Tends to get special guest co-hosts on. We've had some great shows throughout 2022 so far. I'll be honest with you, Christmas is a busy period. It's a really busy period. I'm filming this on a Sunday rather than the Saturday. Christmas is busy. I do the podcast, but I've got other things, another job, other things going on. I work at the Movie Cheer Town cinema, painting the windows part time. I've got to do that job, but that's the main job. I got to paint the windows, get them clean, get all the new movie posters on the windows. That's the main job. But the podcast is always there, and I always put it in and put it out. And like I said, it'll always come out of the weekend if I've scheduled it, unless I'm down with like a sickness or anything like that. But winter has been, like I said, December is just absolutely mad, I find. I think everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's in December. It's just a busy time of the year. To throw it in now, I'll say this. I'm going to, peek behind the curtain here, what I'm looking at. The World Cup, the Football World Cup is on at the moment as well. And I'll be honest, I'm a football fan. I'm not a big fan of international football, I'll be honest with you. It's something international football I've never really got behind. I think it's because England are crap. That's the bottom line. But I've been looking at like the dates. So the FIFA World Cup final is on the 18th of December, which is Saturday, I believe. I think it's Saturday or Sunday. I think it might be Saturday. Either one of those. But yeah, I think it is a Saturday. And I thought I can't do a podcast on that day because that was going to be the winter show originally around that date. And I thought, oh God, I can't do that weekend. And then Sunday I've got things on. And I was thinking, like, do I do an earlier show? And like I said, I was thinking of doing this winter pay-per-view a few weeks ahead. So at this moment in time, I've scheduled it for next Saturday. Next Saturday, it'll be a live show between 7:30 and 9:30. Live show UK time. But the football is on then. And that's, England potentially could be in the quarterfinals then. And I thought, I could happily not watch the quarterfinals as long as I don't miss out on a final. Because if England gets to a World Cup final, I'll definitely watch that. But quarterfinal, I'm like, okay, I can just, maybe have it on the background while we're doing the pod, the live pod. So the winter pay-per-view, let's get back on track. The winter pay-per-view will be taking place next Saturday as of now. And I'm going to, potential guest, I'm going to obviously say to them, the football is on. If you want to watch the football, I totally get it. I understand. But yeah, that'll be the winter show next week. A winter themed show where we're going to be discussing movies that we watch at winter time. I will be confirming some guests throughout the week, hopefully, on the social media. So check out social media if you're interested in finding out who is going to be coming on next week. If you want to get involved, always drop me a message as well. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'd be good. I don't know whether that is going to be the last show of the year. I may try and fit in another podcast for 2022 because I am going to take a bit of a winter break then. But we'll see how it goes. I'll let you all know next week where we're at schedule-wise for the rest of the year for the podcast. But I thought I'd keep you updated. This is the not-so-worthy Blockbuster housekeeping section. Let's get it put out right here. What's been going on latest as well? Let's get to it. Patreon. This past week, it was another TV commentary tapes. Another edition of that. Again, I'm really enjoying doing those. If you want to join Patreon, it is $1 to sign up. You can do it one month and then get rid of it and use all the content you want and watch it as much as you want, or you can be continuous, and it's entirely up to you. I always think if you want an extra slice of movie cheer content, it is there available to you to come and go as you please. And what else has been going on? YouTube Shorts. I don't know whether I've mentioned this. I've been playing around with a few different things recently. The TikTok videos, Instagram a bit more, and YouTube Shorts, because I keep on hearing YouTube Shorts. And I know we got the second channel, the Movie Cheer Town channel, which puts out like shorter clips, but like a couple of minutes long clips of the main videos. But YouTube Shorts has been really good, and like you can do like a 15-minute clip, or a 1-minute clip. You can do original clips, like record new clips, or you can take previous videos and cut them down into shorter clips for these YouTube Shorts. And it's all for like, obviously it goes on your mobile app and stuff like that. So I thought I'd play around with it, and I've been playing around with it this past weekend. There's been a lot more. We've had loads of new community members come in through these. I remember there was one video this past week. It was like displaying the what was it? It was the 4K we had last week on the Case Cover Collision, and it was the Civil War, Captain America Civil War, and I put out a video about that in this short 1-minute clip, and it had like 10 new community members to the community, and I thought that's awesome. And there was like new comments, new interactions, new comments and stuff from people who've not been involved in the community before. And I thought, yeah, that's great. So I'm going to be doing a few more of these. Let me know your thoughts on YouTube Shorts. What do you want to see with the YouTube Shorts? Do you want to see more like original content with them, or do you want to see just clips like cut down? What do you like seeing? Because I genuinely want to get your input on this, because it's new to me with the YouTube Shorts, and it'd be great to just get some feedback. What you think works best for you, like what you enjoy watching, what you watch with other channels that are like movie related as well. Let me know your thoughts, ladies and gents. But anyway, that is it for the not-so-worthy Blockbuster housekeeping segment of today's show. Let's move on to today's headline topic.
The Movie Cheer Podcast presents the headline topic for the episode.
Remember to spread a bit of
headline topic. Headline topic.
Remember to spread a bit of movie cheer.
So today's headline topic, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, 2008 movie, the fourth movie in the Indiana Jones franchise. Let's get into it. We're going to do a big deep dive into this, whether this is a franchise killer, whether it is a misunderstood movie. What are my thoughts? Let's go. So let's talk about it. Like I said, 2008. It's hard to believe now that this movie is 14 years old. It is crazy, and especially now we've got... I wanted to talk about this really because we've had the recent trailer, and the new movie Dial of Destiny is coming out next year in 2023. So this is, 14 years. It's going to be 15 years as of next year since the release of this movie. That is a long gap between movies, and it's surreal to think it's taken this long to get another one. Considering people didn't like it this much, this movie, it feels like popular opinion. People don't like this movie. To think it's, why didn't they do another one to kind of like rebuild that bridge of fans and stuff sooner? But they've not. They took 15 years, but they've made one. And I'm looking forward to seeing the new one come out next year. I think it's going to be great. But let's get into this movie, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Basic plot of the movie. This is set in the 1950s. The villains of this movie are the Russians rather than the Nazis this time around. Basically it is all to do with... It's more like a science fiction Indiana Jones movie. This one a bit more. I suppose you could say some of the other ones are a bit like sci-fi elements in a way. But yeah, there's aliens in this, and basically the Crystal Skull is this ancient crystal skull, and basically they go and find this. He's got to go and find this crystal skull. The Russians find aliens at the start of the movie. They capture Indiana Jones at the start of the movie, and they take him to Area 51, and they make him find the corpse of an alien, basically. And they say, no, this is not the first one, and there is search for aliens, basically, the Roswell landing, and basically they want to find more aliens. And they think he's key to finding them and stuff like that. And they want to get more knowledge, basically. They want to get more knowledge, more power. And you have Cate Blanchett, who plays the Russian villain in this, and I think she's really good, her character in this. I really like her character, this like Russian scientist, and she played. I think she was really good in the Ragnarok movie, and I will get to that a bit more about her character. But she's like the main antagonist of this movie, and she's trying to, like I said, gain power from these aliens. She wants to find them to get the knowledge, the power. So there's this ancient place called Akatar, this ancient city, this sort of like city that's kind of like more like a fairy tale. It's I think it is El Dorado. It's like that's what it's called. And they then go on this journey to El Dorado. They find the crystal skull. Well, Indy finds the crystal skull with Mutt, played by Shia LaBeouf. And you've got Ray Winston as well, playing Mac, another one of his sidekicks who turns out to be a double agent in this movie, who works for the Russians. And you kind of don't know which side he's on. You've got Karen Allen return as Marianne. In this movie, she's the mother of Mutt Williams, who, spoiler warning, Mutt Williams turns out to be Indy's son. But yeah, they all go on this big grand adventure to find this crystal skull. And then in the end, it basically turns out this crystal, they go into this like big temple in Akatar, this ancient city. And they put the crystal skull, like it goes into one of the alien skeletons. They find like these circle of alien skeletons. And the crystal skull goes up to them. They're all like in this crystal design, and then they all sort of like do this big like transformation. It turns into an alien with like real alien skin, and then the alien like just pierces the eyes out of Cate Blanchett's character, the Russian scientist, the villain of the piece, and kills her character off in the end. And then the aliens just end up going up in the flying saucer and vanishing. And that's kind of the end of the story. So it's it's a very much a science fiction story. That's kind of it, really. That's the premise of the story. Let's get to honest opinions. So, what are my thoughts on this movie? Well, I'll say I'm going to give you a bit of a little small backstory here, and I probably mentioned this on a podcast before, but I remember having the DVD of this many years ago, and I was always, I wouldn't say I'm because I think like Star Wars, I'm a big diehard Star Wars fan. And I say Star Wars because Harrison Ford was in Star Wars, obviously. Indiana Jones, growing up, I wasn't like a huge fan. I watched the movies, but I wasn't like a massive fan of them. I think probably in the past couple of years, maybe the last five or so years, maybe a bit longer, I've really got into the movies a lot more, and I really enjoy them a lot more now. And I think the stories are great. The adventures, this action adventure story, this professor, this archaeologist turned professor, or professor turned archaeologist, adventurer, explorer, Indiana Jones goes on these adventures to find these artifacts. I think it's just a really fun story, and I think they're all really fun. I think Temple of Doom is probably my one I don't like as much out of the original trilogy, but this one. Let's get back to the story. I remember having it in the collection years ago, and I was kind of put off by watching it so stupidly at the time by popular opinion that this is a really bad movie, and it kind of put me off because I heard so many bad things about this movie years ago, and it put me off watching it. And it's something I don't do anymore. I always watch a movie and make my own opinion of a movie, and I was daft to do it years ago, and it's something I did, and I ended up just giving it to a charity shop. And give it to a charity shop or I sold it. I can't remember exactly what I did now, but years later, I saw it at a charity shop again, and it was like I remember it was like something like it was like 5 movies for £1 or something ridiculous like that. And I thought, and I must have found like 4 movies that I thought were really really good buys, and then I was like looking for a 5th movie, and then I ended up seeing this movie again, and I thought, you know what, something just made me think I'm going to buy it and watch it. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a go this time round. I thought, the idea of listening to, letting opinions put me off a movie were out the window. I was like, I'm going to watch this movie for myself now and make my own opinion of this movie. And I watched it, and I'll be honest, I really enjoyed it. And I've watched it many times since. I honestly think this is probably the one I've watched more. Well, I'd probably say this and Last Crusade are the 2 Indiana Jones movies I've watched the most times. I'll be honest, I really like this movie. I think it's, like I said, I think you've got Cate Blanchett, who is a really good, solid villain. I think she was in the Thor Ragnarok as Hela, and I really liked the villain in that. I think she was really a solid villain in this as well. Playing this Russian scientist who is all to do with psychic science, and this is what she wants to get the aliens' knowledge and technology, because she feels like they are way far ahead and they can learn so much from the aliens. And I think her villain is just really, it works. A villain works really well with a lot of the characters here. I think especially with Mac, played by Ray Winston, his interactions work really well. But I think with Indiana Jones as well, they just, they really pulls apart the characters, but in a way they seem kind of similar in a way, because they're both, he's after artifacts, he's after history, she's after knowledge. And it's very, very similar sort of philosophies and ethos, if that's the correct term I'm looking for here, what they're about. And they're very similar, but, also at the other end of the spectrum as well. She's like this evil Russian villain, he's like this heroic explorer. But yeah, I really like it. I think it's great. I think another one as well. I think popular opinion, honest opinions, like Mutt Williams, Shia LaBeouf. I like him in this movie. I'm not really a big Shia LaBeouf fan, and I remember watching the Transformers movie, and I thought he was okay in that. I can't really recall that many movies I've watched. I remember he's in the Constantine movie as well, and he's okay in that. He's not that bad. But I've not really seen that much of him, so I'm not really a diehard fan of him. I know people, I think some people dislike him, maybe because of some of the things he does outside of acting. But as an actor, I thought he was good in this role, and then he turns out to be Indiana Jones' son. I think he's a good sidekick. I think he's funny. I like Mac, played by Ray Winston, who's this double agent. And like I said, he starts off as this sidekick of Indy, and then he turns to the Russians because they offer him more money. And it's then halfway through the story, he admits to Indy that he's a CIA double agent, and then he's on the good side again, and then he turns again, and it's just like, which side is he on? It's like Indiana Jones makes the joke within the movie to him. It's like, I've never heard of a triple agent, Mac, because he just keeps on swapping sides. And it's like, I'm sure I've read into this before. Like, it's like, is he a CIA agent? Is he CIA, or is he just a crook? Which side is he on, really? Is he kind of like, is he not sure which side he's on, or he's playing both sides? I don't know, but I do think he's like on Indy's side deep down. I think he's trying to look out for him because he, they mentioned they've been on loads of adventures and they are friends. I think he is, like, deep down, he is a good guy, but I think maybe he just, like, sometimes, gets a bit torn. I think he's just like, but I think deep down he's a good guy, Mac. But I do like Ray Winston's character in this. I think he plays a really good character. But overall, I really enjoy it. I think it's a really fun adventure movie. Forgetting all of like the bad press this movie has had over the years, I think it's fun. It's a classic adventure story. They go on this grand adventure to, get this crystal skull. They're going in like, there's like like booby traps and stuff like that. They're going in mazes and stuff like that, and it's fun. I think it's a fun adventure. I think it's got a good fun villain, a good strong villain to say, and then a lot of good hero characters in there as well. And Indiana Jones is just, again, it's when was the last one? When was Last Crusade? Like the 80s. This is what, 20 years on, over 20 years on. This movie. Let's call a spade. He's not a young man anymore in the Harrison Ford in this movie, and look, in this newer movie, he's going to be an even more older gentleman. But I still think he's great, even as like this older version of Indiana Jones. I like the story they tell with it. I think they still show he can be like this action-packed hero at a different age. He's not a younger man anymore, but I think it still works well. I think it's fun. I don't look at it and think, oh, there's this old guy, going on motorbikes and fighting battles and stuff. I'm like, this guy's a badass, an absolute badass. I really like it. Favorite moments. I'm going to get to favorite moments now. Some of the favorite moments. I think the warehouse scene is really good at the start of the movie. Where, like I said, they're looking for this in Area 51, the corpse of an alien, and it's in like this lead box. Highly magnetic like box, like this coffin. And they're trying to get Indy to find it because he apparently worked on this and was doing the dissection at the time, or he was part of the team. And he says to them all, like, give me your gunpowder, because if he throws up the gunpowder, it's highly magnetic, it'll lead to this corpse. So he does that, he throws the gunpowder in the air, and it goes and it floats around, and they're all following this. Then they find it, but then we get Indy, he's outnumbered, Mac has turned on him, and he's like, how do I escape? And then he kicks out a Russian soldier, and then just starts running across all these crates on this, like, top of this warehouse. And then you get this really fun escape scene where, like, the cars are chasing him, and he's got his whip out, he's like throwing the whip in the air, he's like hanging off things, and it's just a fun, very short scene, but a really fun scene. I really like that. As well, again, the jungle car chase later on in the movie, that is a solid scene. And I've watched on the DVD, I remember watching, last time I watched it a few months back, they have the behind the scenes bit of that filming of that jungle scene, the car chase. And it was really cool to watch that. I can't remember every bit of detail on that scene, but I remember in the bonus features that is definitely on the DVD disc. But it's a great scene, really great scene. You've got a lot of different things going on. You've got two cars chasing each other, and you've got the crystal skull in between all that, like, getting passed back and forth. You've got like a sword fight between Cate Blanchett and Shia LaBeouf's character. And then it ends with, I think that the end moment of this probably that is a notable scene, iconic scene for many, for maybe some wrong reasons. People think it's a bit of a jokey scene, but you see Shia LaBeouf then going like all out Tarzan, and he's like climbing the trees and swinging from the trees with the monkeys to catch up with them all. And it is a bit cheesy, but I don't know. It's not. I get it. It's not like. It's a bit like over the top. It's not realistic, but it's fun. It's I don't take it too seriously. These movies, I'm like, they're just fun. Just taking the funness, the adventureness of these movies. I like that. So there's some of my favorite moments in the movie. But let's get to this overall. What are the drawbacks of this movie? What is this movie misunderstood? Is it a good movie in the franchise, or is it a franchise killer? Well, I think from my sort of like discussion here, you can tell I'm a fan of this movie, so I'm not going to say it's a franchise killer. Definitely not. I think it's misunderstood in a way. This movie, I think there's like little things like the CGI, the alien CGI. I think that at the end maybe put people off. Like, it's not great, the CGI, but I don't think it's awful. I think if you compare it to some of the CGI around the early 2000s, it's not the worst, and it's very brief. It is very brief, the CGI of the aliens. I think it's because you compare what came before, and if you look at like that very first Indiana Jones movie, the very end scenes, it was all, practical effects. I remember watching the Lucasfilm documentary recently, and they shown like the practical effects from the very first Indiana Jones movie. Do you know at the end of the scene when the heads are all like melting and stuff like that? And it was all practical effects. Obviously now we're skipping forward. It's a new era. They were trying CGI a lot now, and it's I think things like that maybe put a lot of people off. Things like where they compared it and said it's like, this doesn't feel like an Indiana Jones movie, maybe. And I think that was a similar thing with the Star Wars movies. With the prequels, they were heavy in CGI, and a lot of people didn't like that because the originals were practical effects. And don't get me wrong, there's story elements here as well, and story elements with Star Wars what people didn't like. But I think that is definitely one element to why people criticize this movie and another drawback to it. And I can understand it. I can understand it. But for me, I don't think it puts me off this movie. Look, the characters as well. I think, like I said, Shia LaBeouf, is he a character? Is he an actor because people don't like him as an actor? As a person, people see him in this and feel like he's just not the right fit for this movie. Personally, I think he fits in well. I think he's great as Indiana Jones' son. I would have. Look, if it was me, and I'd be honest, I don't really read into too much what he is like outside as a person. If he was a good person though, and he was on the right course, and look, I'm not saying he is a bad person. I don't really know, but I would have loved to have seen this character again, played by Shia LaBeouf, because I thought he was a fun character, and I don't know whether he is going to feature in the sequel, this new one. I can't imagine he is. I think he came out and he like sort of like called the filmmakers or called the production of this movie when the movie was getting made or something like that. I remember reading, but I thought he was a fun character. I thought he was a really like what they were establishing there, like his son for the adventures moving forward. I thought that could have been a really fun element moving forward in a sequel. But again, I think that is another drawback. But where does this stand with the Indiana Jones movies? I think for me, like I said, Last Crusade is my favourite movie. I think the first one then would be like behind it. And again, I probably change my opinions very regularly on these movies, but I think for me, Temple of Doom is last on the list of Indiana Jones movies. Currently for me, I think Kingdom of the Crystal Skull stands as the third favourite movie for me. I think it is a good movie in the Indiana Jones movies franchise. I think you've got to look at it as well. Look, the times changed. It wasn't, again, is it again where like this aged Indiana Jones people didn't feel like it was, it was the time had gone. I think as well, The Last Crusade was such a great movie, wasn't it? It's like, how do you top such a great movie like that? I think Empire Strikes Back, fantastic film. Return of the Jedi wasn't on par with it, was it? Let's be honest. I think that's the thing. Last Crusade for me is one of the best movies ever made. And to top that, it's hard. And it didn't top it, let's be honest. But I think it is a good movie in the franchise of Indiana Jones movies. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well, what you think on this movie. Because I think it's great. I think it's a great movie. I think it's a fun movie. It's entertaining. And as it goes, I think it is great to watch before this new movie coming out. It really whets the appetite for me for a new Indiana Jones movie, even more so, and I can't wait to see Indiana Jones in his next movie, The Dial of Destiny. But anyway, that is my thoughts on Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Let's move on to the next segment of today's show.
Case covers take on other case covers. Can you handle that?
Case cover collision. Case cover collision.
Case cover collision. Each and every week I choose a movie and look at the different case covers for that movie and put them up against each other to find out which one is the best in case cover collision. Now this week I will be looking at the movie Hot Fuzz, the second movie in the Blood and Cornetto trilogy. I think that's what it's called, or the Cornetto and Blood trilogy. I'm not too sure anyway, but the movie series starring Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. We had Shaun of the Dead, we had Hot Fuzz, and then we had World's End as well. Hot Fuzz, let's just talk about this briefly, this movie. What are my thoughts on this movie? I'm a big fan of Hot Fuzz. I think it is one of the best British comedies out there. I honestly don't think there is a better British comedy. I think it's just one of the best. The cop, police officer cop movie. Simon Pegg plays a copper, and they go in this like little village, and then there's all mysteries going on in this village. There's people are getting murdered, and it's just it's a comedy, but it's just like such a great movie, such a great movie. I think the comedy timings in it are amazing. The laughs in it are great. Plenty of laughs. I love it. I love Hot Fuzz. But let's look at Hot Fuzz case cover. So there is going to be a Zavvi exclusive new release coming out in December. We are in December now. I think it's at the end of the month. And it's a new steelbook. So that's what prompted this edition of Case Cover Collision today. But I've got a few other covers to look at as well. I've got 2 DVD case covers, a Blu-ray steelbook, and the Zavvi exclusive steelbook as well. So let's get to it. So first of all, we're going to start off with the very first DVD case cover here, and I think this is one a lot of people would have had when this movie came out. I certainly did. And Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. So we got this cover of Nick Frost and Simon Pegg in the police uniforms, both of them, and it's very much like a mid shot. You get more like a full body shot of both of them here. You got Simon Pegg leading the way, and then Nick Frost looking into the distance. But they take up a whole lot of the cover here, the two of them. And then you've got like a backdrop of like a sky, and then you got like trees. It looks like it's like they're in like a forest there, and there's like a very atmospheric look going on behind them. At the top of the screen, you've got the Hot Fuzz title text here in like this silver metallic text. Very bold, very strong looking text, very big on this case cover. Above that, you've got the names of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and then you've got a new comedy from the makers of Shaun of the Dead under that in small text. And also, you've got like this it looks like an explosion, like a sunlight behind them as well. I'd probably say it's more like an explosion given this movie, like the sort of like some of the story elements and like these, they go in finding out what's going on here, and like the going on like this spree to find out who's the murderer. I think this is what they're kind of like going for. And you got like Simon Pegg, he's like this this hotshot cop from, I think is he in like London, and he goes to the village. But I like this. It's very simple. I think the colours are very very plain colours, not much going on in the background. But you kind of like get the message it's a cop movie, and I think if you know these two guys in movies, you know that they're a comedy duo. So I like this cover. I think it's a really solid cover. Let's go now to the case cover number 2, and this is another DVD case cover. This is one I spotted today on Amazon for the first time. So this one very different, but also a similar sort of like template for the case cover, because you've got like a long mid shot here, maybe like very similar to what we saw in the other one, maybe a bit larger where the full, you can see the legs, their arms and stuff like that again. And this time Hot Fuzz, so you got Simon Pegg, Nick Frost front and center in the police uniform, and this time you've got a fiery background, so it's like an explosion. All of it is just fire in the background, completely different to the last cover. And they're walking out of the fire. with like the guns, with the shotguns. Then in the middle of this cover, you've got Hot Fuzz, the same font, same size again, but it's in the middle, below the waist of Simon Pegg's character and Nick Froster's character in this one. And again, exactly the same text. And this is, I think, to me, this cover looks, again, the guys, this is a comedy duo, they do comedy movies, but they're like, it's displaying like this action movie. And I think it's a fun cover. I think it's just like it looks silly because it kind of looks like a movie. It kind of isn't in a way, but I think that's the joke on it. Really, it's like, but I like it. I like this cover. I think this one is actually better than the first one. I think because the explosion is just super over the top, and it just, for me, it just like it again, it's not like completely describing what this movie is in a way, but I think it's just over the top. It's just silly, and it just, the two of them are just like, they look like it looks like they're doing like a Die Hard cover, and I just like it. It's just like a joke on like sort of like 80s like cop movies or something like that. So yeah, I like this. I think for me, this one is my favorite so far out of these two case covers. So I'm going to go with the second one so far. Next up, let's go to the next cover. So the next case cover we're going to look at is the Blu-ray Steelbook, and I believe this was a release a few years back on Amazon. And this one is very, very different. Again, very different case cover here. So you've got Simon Pegg and Nick Frost front and center in the police uniform, but it's a close-up headshot this time, and it's like half and half. Very much like if you remember the Face Off cover, where you got John Travolta and Nick Cage, and you've got like the two faces, and it's kind of like similar to that. And in between, they're holding a gun together, and like side by side, and then behind the gun, you've got Hot Fuzz text and font, which is super large, taking up half of the screen here. But you've got this really nice looking shot of these guys, and like the shadows on the faces. I think it looks really cool. Again, they got like the sort of like them sunglasses on, them sort of like Top Gun sunglasses on this one as well, and they just look. It just looks really. They look really cool. They look cool. They look like cool cops, which they're kind of not really. They're a bit what's the, like, I don't know, like dorky. That would be bit nerdy in this movie at times. But I think it's a great looking cover. Behind, you've got like the fields of the village, but you can't really see the background as much because the close up of the shot of the faces and the text of Hot Fuzz in here is really large. And at the bottom, you got big cops, small town, moderate violence. Oh man! So this is a steelbook. I love this. I absolutely love this cover. I looked at this for the first time today, and I think it is absolutely brilliant. I think it's a solid cover. I think it's just great. One I would display in a collection, because I think it's a great movie, and I think this is a really great cover. And I'm surprised I've never seen this case cover, because it is an absolutely amazing case cover. This one, love it. So far, this is now the winner. This is taking over as the winner on Case Cover Collision so far. But we've got to get to the final case cover of today's edition of the show. So let's move on to the fourth and final case cover. Now, this is the Zavvi exclusive, let me get it right, Hot Fuzz Zavvi exclusive limited edition of 4K Ultra HD Steelbook, includes the Blu-ray as well. This is, I think it's coming out on the 21st, if I'm right. I've not got the exact date. I'm pretty sure it was around the 20th, 21st on Zavvi. Let's have a look at this one. So, this is this steelbook. It is very, I think it's got very much a similar style to the last one, where it is, you've got Simon Pegg's character and Nick Frost on, you can like the reversible base, or kind of like you've got one on one side, one on the other side, so not reversible. But let's look at the one with Simon Pegg at the front. Really, that's what I'm going to focus on. He's got like them Top Gun sunglasses on again. It's a blue background this time, so you've got a blue, nice light blue background here. And then again, you've got a headshot of his character, Simon Pegg's character, and it kind of looks a bit like cartoony in a way. It's like a bit hand drawn. It's like the effect they put on his face here. It's not like an actual picture. It looks like kind of like painted effect here, which I really like. Below that, you've got the Hot Fuzz text, and it's smaller than it has been in previous ones. It's at the bottom of the screen, bottom of the case cover. It takes up, it's a wide font, but it's not like really large in height. But you can see it's Hot Fuzz. You can see the movie that it is, and then you see in the shot of the sunglasses. If I'm looking rightly, I'm going to zoom in on this. It looks like it's like you got the church of the setting of this village in one bit, and then you've got some of the. It looks like the characters were wearing like the hoods, like if you know the movie, they have like hoods on at this certain point in the movie. I think it's like the villain of the piece. I'm not going to say too more because if you've not watched Hot Fuzz, I don't want to spoil it. But I do love this, and you've got like a silhouette on his face. Half of his face is like sort of like darkened with a shadow, and it really looks absolutely splendid. I really like the look of this. But which one is the winner of this edition of Case Cover Collision? Whew, this is a tough one. I gotta be honest. As much as I love that Zavvi exclusive, I'm going to go with the Blu-ray. I think the Blu-ray is really solid, and I like the fact that it's got both of the guys on the front cover because I think they're both, obviously the Zavvi exclusive does feature both, but they're not together. They're on back and front. Whereas the Blu-ray cover, what I like about it, I love that the way it's all been put together. I think like the gun and the hands are at the front, and then you got the text behind it, and then you got the faces behind that, and I think it's just really well put together in little segments, and I really like that. I think it looks great. They both look cool AF on this, and I think it's just a cracking cover. I do like the original DVD. I think it's iconic as well. It's everyone knows that cover. I think the Fire one is great as well, but I think the Blu-ray, it's just something different, and it looks something different as well as case covers as a whole. Like it's something like a bit more unique in a way with the placements they've done here, and I really like it. I think it's a really good cover. So on this edition, the winner of this edition of Case Cover Collision is the Hot Fuzz Blu-ray cover. Now, anyway, let's move on with the next segment of today's show.
The Amazon Top 10 is approaching. Prepare yourself. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Amazon Top 10 has arrived.
The Amazon Top 10. Each and every week, I look at the Amazon Top 10 on Amazon.co.uk for the bestsellers list for DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks. Let's look at the bestsellers list for this week, ladies and gents. So at number 10, we have a new one here, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris DVD. I've never heard of that movie. Number 9, we have Thor Love and Thunder on DVD. At number 8, we have The House of the Dragon Season 1 on DVD. At number 7, we have Mrs. Brown's Boys Holly Jolly Jingles on DVD. I believe that's a Mrs. Brown's Boys Christmas special. At number 6, we have Fisherman's Friends 2, One and All. It's been in the top 10 for a while, that one. Another one that's been in the top 10 for a while is at number 5, Operation Mincemeat on DVD. At number 4, we have Minions, The Rise of Gru on DVD. At number 3, we have Top Gun Maverick on Blu-ray. At number 2, we have Elvis on DVD. And back at number 1 again, Downton Abbey, A New Era on DVD. That is at number 1 on the Amazon Top 10 for this week. Let's move on to the final segment of today's show now, ladies and gents.
Ooh, what's been on the screen? What's been on the screen.
What's been on the screen? This is a segment of the show where I discuss what I've been watching over this past week. First of all, I want to get into the new Super Mario Brothers trailer. I thought it was another fun trailer for this movie coming out next year. I'm really looking forward to it. I like this as well. We saw a little bit more of the universe, a bit more of the characters. I've been reading stuff online that people don't like Chris Pratt's voice. I don't mind it. But we get the idea now in this trailer that has just came out that Mario and Luigi are plumbers in the real world, in the real animated world here in this movie, and then they get pulled into like the Mushroom Kingdom for the story of like them going up against Bowser. I thought it was great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited for this movie. I'll be honest with you. The Sonic movies, I like the Sonic movies, but I do think having it all animated like the way the Mario route is doing, I think it is a lot better. And I can't wait to see what they do with this. And I can't wait to see where this goes in future, where we get more video game properties from Nintendo as well. But I thought it was a solid trailer, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think Luigi was a standout character in this one, and Donkey Kong as well. To see Donkey Kong in there as well was fun to see. It was trailer galore this week, though. We had another trailer. I'm obviously not going to mention every single trailer, but another one, seeing as though in today's show we're mentioning Indiana Jones, the new trailer hit for the new movie, The Dial of Destiny. Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny. And I've been watching a few videos today and watching the trailer again. It looks like this movie is going to be kind of like a time travel story, or definitely have some element of time travel in there. Because in the movie, we do see in the trailer a de-aged look of Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones. So we see him like a younger version, going for that effect that they've used at Star Wars for Luke Skywalker in the past couple of years. But it looked okay. I thought it didn't look too bad, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it looks, the final version, how it goes into the story. I think if they do it in a little short burst, it's okay. I think if they do like a full movie, it can be a bit too much, but in short bursts, I think it does look great. I thought Luke Skywalker, the last version they did, was absolutely amazing. But I'm looking forward to that. I like the idea that you got like these time travel elements in this, and I think it probably is going to be Harrison Ford's last Indiana Jones movie, given the fact it's taken 15 years to do another one. Is he going to do another one in 15 more years? I personally think this is like the sign-off, the final farewell of that character. I'm looking forward to it, though. Like I said, I really like it. I think Harrison Ford still kills it. I think he's awesome. I think he's great. I loved him returning in Force Awakens. I thought he was great in that. I'm looking forward to see him back as Indiana Jones. I still think, look, he might not be a 40-year-old guy anymore, or a 30-year-old guy, but he's still awesome. He's Harrison Ford. He's amazing, and I'm looking forward to this movie. So if you've not checked out that trailer, check it out because it's great. And once that music kicks in, it looked ace. But we got that as well. Obviously, he has got his goddaughter figure as like the sidekick. It's that Amanda Waller. Is it Amanda Phoebe Waller or something? She was in that Fleabag show, and she's playing the goddaughter of an Indy, and she looks like the sidekick in this story. And she looked great in this as well. I think she's going to be a really good character in this. I'm looking forward to seeing it overall, what comes in that movie. But it's coming out next year. Can't wait for it. I know Steven Spielberg isn't directing, but it is James Mangold who directed Logan, Wolverine, Copland. Great director. This franchise is in very good hands with him. But that is it, what I've been watching this past week, and that is it for another show, ladies and gents. If you enjoyed today's show, please do give it a like and leave a comment below, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already, if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're listening to this on a podcast app of your choice, subscribe to the podcast app and to the podcast itself, and leave a 5-star review, and send me a link or send me a message with your 5-star review, and I will read it out on the show, ladies and gents. But it's been a great show as always. I've been really happy to go into this movie today because I really enjoy this fourth Indy movie. But it's been great. But I want to hear your thoughts on this movie. What do you think of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? Is it a bad movie? Is it a good movie? In between? Let me know your thoughts, and let me know your thoughts on all of today's other movie-related topics as well, ladies and gents. Plenty of topics to go around. I want to get all of your opinions, as always. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents. Remember to spread a bit of movie cheer, and as always, I will see you next time.